Okay, hello and welcome to the MSDynamicsWorld.com Spring 2013 BI and Reporting Event Series. I'm Jason Gumpert, and joining us for today's event is Jorge Garcia, Senior Business Intelligence and Data Management Analyst for Technology Evaluation Centers, or TEC. Jorge is a veteran. Hey, Jorge. Thanks for joining today, and just to everyone on the line, Jorge is a veteran of application design and data warehouse design, BI, project management. He's also a member of the Boulder BI Brain Trust, a collection of leading BI analysts and experts that's based in, as you might have guessed, in the Boulder and Denver, Colorado area. So as we get started, I just wanted to add that we invite you to add your own feedback, your own questions today during Jorge's presentation. And there are a couple of ways for you to do this. First, you can use the Q&A tab that you see to the right of the slides, and you can enter your questions there anytime. Jorge will be leaving time at the end to answer questions. And we are also using the hashtag MSDWBI to share some of our findings today and to also take your questions if you want to add them there. So without further delay, please allow me to welcome Jorge Garcia.
Hi, thank you, and hello. Thank you for inviting me, Jason, and MSDynamicsWorld.com. Well, today's session, we're going to be talking a little bit of a main problem within two different spaces, BI and ERP. And it's about integrating these two applications together. So the importance of this integration and why we should do it. Much of this presentation will be based on research that we have done here at Technology Evaluation Center. So let's start. I'm going to give a little bit of an outline of what we're going to be covering in this session. First of all, we'll give a little bit of a justification on the topic and what we are seeing ERP users are looking for from a BI solution. Then we will try to come up with we'll come up with an explanation of some of the issues that ERP and BI users deal with when they try to integrate because of having environments living in different worlds. Let's call it like that. We'll try to close or suggest models to close that gap between ERP and BI. And we'll explore some business challenges and opportunities, and we'll finalize what a call to action. And as Jason mentioned it, we will be having a Q&A session, so you can throw your questions. Okay. Well, with no delay, let's start with the first topic, which is what ERP users want from a BI solution. And well, this is still a main issue because many times vendors tell us that we don't need to integrate data between ERP and BI. And if you're a BI practitioner or an ERP specialist, you will know that many times this is not the case. Many times we need to address this problem. And this problem is not just about integrating data, it's about integrating more than data. It's about integrating goals, integrating processes, and integrating applications. So sometimes the topic is more complex than we thought. This little phrase talks about this problem. And how many times we need to reshape the way we do business just to solve this integration in order to use data that we can really convert into information. So let's start with a couple of findings that we have here at TEC. So taking some information from our audience, we discovered that much of the ERP users looking for a BI solution, or when users are looking for functionality within the ERP, pretty much we know what they're looking for in terms of general ERP functionality, financials, accounting, inventory, human resources, etc. But two main topics stand out from this. One is business intelligence and performance management, and the other one is analytics. So having this on the top 20 functionalities they are looking for, we know that nowadays ERP users and in general organizations are more aware of the need for a BI solution or for analytics system. Mainly, what ERP users are looking for within these two topics are first and foremost, and the traditional goal of any BI or analytics tool is to improve their decision-making process. This deals specifically with with strategy or the high level. The top of the company. Executives want their reports. They want to be able to gather information to make a better decision. Mostly and traditionally, aim it to address strategy decisions. But in modern times, we also discovered that many people are not looking just a BI solution from a strategic point of view. They also are looking to improve their operational efficiency, and they're looking to make tactical decisions. And of course, because of this, achieve better business performance, which is, in fact, a mix of having to decide between strategy and operations. So we know that they're looking to improve the solutions. Now, from definitions, from previous definitions on BI, one from Howard Dresner and the other from Mr. Wells, we know that business intelligence has to be addressed from a methodology perspective. Many times we get confused and we get into the picture that we solve this problem just using the technology. But as we're going to see during the presentation, this is more about, this is not just about technology. It's more about having a really strong plan in order to collect the data and transform that data into information and then transfer that information into intelligence, action, and enabling companies to predict, even to predict the future. So this is a most modern idea of BI. So traditional BI, as we knew it, it's not just, it was just about reporting. That was the main goal. And many times we have seen that still modern users of ERP, they got caught in this definition, and they think that BI is just kind of a subset of having a reporting solution, which is not. It's not just about the data warehousing. It's not just about OLAP. And it's not just about dashboard. Altogether can really give a better understanding of what a BI solution is. Another interesting fact is that modern BI technologies are not meant just for executives and are not for large companies. We know that there's a large community of small to medium companies looking for or having the same needs for a BI solution or a BI offering. So again, we're not talking just about technology, but we're talking about a combination of people, process, and technology. Setting this as the basis, if we want to transform information into technology, we need to do certain things. The basic cycle, as we know it in BI, is to collect the data, and this is a very important fact, or a very important step of the cycle. We need to collect that data, and we're talking precisely about this specific topic. Why? Because based on that collection, we can do all the other steps: reporting, analytics, and finally have a good visualization. And nowadays, modern users understand that the collection is a very important issue to solve in order to get complete visualization or an enhanced visualization of information. So if we understand how the data comes and we can transform that into information, we can really improve the decision-making process. So it's not just about having a strong data visualization or having the analytics. So the old adage of garbage in, garbage out still remains the same. So if we go a little bit deeper under the research and we check what ERP users want from a BI solution, but specifically to address problems. We thought that, well, many times we get on the hype and we think that many of the data management problems are solved, but we have discovered that most of our audience are still looking to solve two main problems within incorporating BI solutions to an ERP, which is one is to solve their data management problems, which is precisely collecting, treating that information, and transform that into better ways to improve business performance. So we're talking about the main issue here is still about how to handle the data, how to transport the data coming from the ERP, being generated by the ERP into the BI solution. Specifically, what type of problems are we want to resolve? Okay, well, we're talking about three main problems. One is having the right way to extract, transform, and load the information from one place to the other, from the ERP to the BI solution. Then solve data warehouse functions and have the right tool to store that information. And at the end, have better ways to handle the information. So this is about integration. We still see on our audience many issues on how to integrate information coming from the ERP into the BI system. And this is going to get even more interesting as long as further on the presentation. So as we can see from this slide, we ask several types of executives from a company how important was integration for them, and this is a clear definition that integration is a main topic for all executives and all personnel across the company, and not just across the organization, but from different types of organizations, from small, medium to large companies. Integrating data or integrating processes or integrating and aligning the information coming from the ERP to the a BI solution is a key component of the BI cycle, let's call it like that. So a little bit of a food for thought, and this is coming from Infotech, another analyst firm. If you notice here, we have three main, besides we have three main issues within a BI deployment. It's interesting to know that despite adoption being a challenge and despite budget being another challenge, with 74% of organizations still suffer from a bad use of their information sources, and that's a nightmare for them. So we still remain having problems on how to integrate information. So, okay, so now that we kind of justify a little bit with some of our findings, let's talk about why is important, or how why we have issues to integrate these two different worlds, let's call it like that. So most of the times what we do is that, or the basic form of integrating data and processes coming from the ERP into BI is taking all of that functionality from the ERP, and on top of that, which comes from a transactional point of view, we register transactions and everything is transactional. We need to move that information on top and we need to put on top of that a BI solution, and we need to move that information to the top. But the problem is that many times, or most of the times, we use a different data schema for that. We use an online analytical processing system. So this is the main reason why an integration system has to be put in place, not just from a technology point of view, but from a business point of view and from a data and process point of view. So we now know that they work differently, and they are meant to be different things. So In this case, while an OLTP system, which is the ERP, works in a normalized form, an OLAP system works in a not normalized form, which is in a dimensional form, a multidimensional form. And because of that, we know about the data margins and other types of the data modeling systems. So these are meant to be for different uses. Why did we separate things in two worlds? There are many reasons for that, but the most important reasons are because of resources, because of performance. It was not possible to make those worlds collide because we couldn't explore large amounts of information for analysis using the same system that we use for production. So we needed to separate those worlds. Some trends are coming together in order to mix again those worlds. So that would be ideal. But in the meantime, we still need to address this problem and try to transport that information from a transactional system to an analytical system. So in this regard, most of the traditional BI solutions used to do something very simple, which was, if we look at this pyramid, talking about users in different types of systems, different levels of the company, from the ERP system, which is a transactional, to different levels of BI users that exist nowadays. Normally, BI solutions used to do this thing, which was take the transactional information and provide strategic levels with reporting and dashboarding solutions for a small amount of users. What's happening now is that because of new business needs, new business rules, something's happening with the information. Information is coming in a more diverse way. We have data coming not just from the ERP, but also from another data sources. Information is coming in more volume. We have more information. Information is coming at more speed. And I'm not just talking about big data. I'm talking in general about all sources of information, which of course involves also big data. But because of this sophistication and diversity and volume and velocity of information, the speed of business has increased, forcing companies to develop a system or try to develop a system where decisions will be taken not just from the strategic level, but now they need to make decisions from a tactical and operational point of view. I know what you think. This means, again, treating with real time, closing to real time. So at the same time that information is being generated from the transactional system, we are being forced to analyze the transactional information almost at the same speed and provide insights so all the levels of the organizations can make better decisions, informed decisions. This is not an easy task. So basically, what is happening nowadays is that many companies, based on the evolution of BI systems, are working with ERP solutions, and of course they're solving their traditional business intelligence needs with report dashboards and OLAPs, but also are putting on top of that business performance management solutions. So we're not dealing just with information coming from transactions in an historical way, but also coming from transactions right in real time, which also includes, for some of those companies that have more maturity on their a more mature BI platform, having this functionality to take not only historical, but to take real-time information to do predictive things such as predictive analytics and others like that. And it all comes to having the need for operational business intelligence mechanism, which means taking the information on real time and get the insights right on the spot. So again, this is the main reason why the integration between these two worlds is so necessary. And for that, we need to solve basically challenges on both sides. On the technical side, of course, it still remains a data consolidation problem, which means taking the information from different sources. But also nowadays, it means integrating not just data, integrating the data, but integrating or business data, but integrating the data coming from processes or integrating even the functionality of different third-party systems. So we're dealing with problems that can go from the first level, from data integration, to a more sophisticated one, which might mean the integration of applications. From the business side, well, we need to fix the challenge of making more effective data use, more effective use of data, more effective use of process, and also monitoring and executing for decision alignment, and of course, effective return of investment. All of that will mean profit. So now that we analyze a little bit of the challenges of having these two worlds living together, let's see how can we close the gap between ERPs and BI, some of the options that we might have to close this gap. So again, this is just a phrase, a very interesting phrase, saying that, well, yes, in fact, we can make an application work perfectly well, but if the data is bad, well, that's not going to work. Okay, so why or how can we convey on having a data or application integration problem? Why we justify a data integration? Well, again, basically because we need data consolidation. If we have reporting, if we have different report silos or different or generating reports from different sources, most probably we are not going to have the same result. Most probably we will not have a single version of the truth, even, well, we can dispute that in one way or the other. But I think the idea remains the same, which is having a consistent view of the data that we're generating. If we generate key performance indicators and we are not using a same repository of information, chances are that we're not going to take the information from the consistent information across the board for the same KPI generated from different sources. So data consolidation is a key point to explore the possibilities of a data integration solution. On the other side, we could find ourselves in a problem which involves not only the data integration but a process integration. If we have processes that are not harmonized, which means we have processes working together in parallel, but we know that they are conflicting together and we're not having the effectiveness result of those processes, we don't have a common business language. Some processes are managed or handled in a way that we don't have common business definitions for them, even technical sometimes. Then we have a problem of process integration. We need to come up with something so the ERP and the BI can act and work together with the same language, with the same language. One of the ways to solve this is using metadata, but sometimes using metadata is not enough to do that. So we don't have we repeat the same problem of not having harmonized KPIs, which means that we might be gathering a key performance indicator with different results, again, for different processes. And also it makes more difficult to if we have processes not integrated, it makes more difficult to monitor them and really relate to them as how effective are in relation to the other, one in relation to the other. So at the end, what we could achieve or can achieve with the data integration and process integration process is decision consolidation. We have data coming to a central point. We're taking the same data, and we are also enabling third-party applications, ERP, BI, CRM, etc., all functionality working together, sharing information, sharing not only business information, but sharing process, monitoring the same workflow, monitoring the same, and communicating, sharing messages, etc. And that's very important. That's what we signal the delivery processes as something extremely important for this. So how can we address an integration problems? Well, It will depend on the type of of need that you might have. You might as well have to integrate information from a data perspective, and you can do it both basically in two ways. There are more than that, but basically two ways: using a third-party data integration tool, which might be a way, or using a pre-configured tool within the BI app or the ERP solution. Some ERPs and some BI applications have integrated extraction, transaction, and loading tools. On the other hand, if we have a problem that involves process consolidation, that involves not just managing the data, but managing the processes accordingly, and trying to streamline those processes, then we might need to use an application integration. We can use an enterprise application integration application from a third-party system, or we could take advantage also of an ERP's integration offering. Those offerings come mostly having middleware platforms, and we'll just talk a little bit about middleware in the next slides. So let's explore a little bit about the data integration process. And well, this graph is kind of a really pretty, might not reflect the complete reality, but this is a very common scenario where we could explore the potential of a data integration solution. We have and it's more kind of a traditional way of doing data integration. What we do is we have those multiple sources, the ERP or some relational legacy system, some other third-party systems, and this is a very common feature. Most of the companies they have the ERP, but they might have other systems, and we use a data integration tool to solve the problem. So when we have this scenario and we really are struggling to consolidate the data, then we could use third-party integration tools. Well, of course, they have advantages and disadvantages. Let's talk about disadvantages. The disadvantage is, there are disadvantages in terms of cost. Of course, you will need to acquire a third-party application. Another disadvantage could be performance, because it will depend on the technology and the type of ETL process or data integration process that you use. You might not be able to tune the SQL generated. I mean, when you're extracting the information, you might not get a strong performance. That will depend on the tool. That's one of the risks, and you might need some expertise still to generate the best or make or take the best of the ETL tool. On the other hand, you have advantages. One is that most of professional ETL tools have retention of metadata. So you start building a common business and technical language. They can finally start producing metadata that will treat the data technically and on the technical side and on the business side as with a common frame. So they will start to understand each other. Of course, they are easier to use than use raw SQL. And most of them at this point use graphical interfaces, and they have built-in objects that can enable you to do very complex and specific data transformations. But still, you need some expertise to some extent. And some of the key players in the market. Well, of course, Informatica is a giant in this. Pervasive software, iWay software from information builders. SAP has its own data integration solution. Oracle, and of course Microsoft, which has recently they have their information services, but now they have new offerings with their enterprise information management system. So they have they have developed new and stronger ETL capabilities for this. So that's one. I mean, that's one option, to have a third-party tool. The other option is to have an integration tool provided by the vendor or by a partner. That's another common feature. Some of the advantages of using this is that they have native connectors to the ERP, which means Having a native connector makes the connection to the ERP, between the ERP and the BI solution quite easier. They also have, and this is maybe the most important thing, they also have data integration templates. And what this means is that many times, doing the mapping of information, if you enter Dynamics or you enter the tables on SAP, just to locate and map the information that is important to you is going to be really difficult. It takes a lot of time, and it's a very, very difficult task to do. Some vendors had already come up with different templates that will enable you to perform this data integration from a business perspective. So if you just want information from a line of business perspective, just extracting financial information, they already did some of the work for you. You can you just connect the application, and they will take that common information within a template, and they will extract that information. Of course, normally you need to do a little bit of legwork additionally, but I think that it could solve a huge amount of time and a huge amount of problems. The only maybe limitation of this type of tool is that you will be, this is configured for the ERP. If you have a wider number of data sources, you might still have to rely on another tool to perform this process. So the important thing about this is that they provide a combination of people, process, and technology. What I mean is templatize these mappings, provide the technology, and many times even the consulting for doing this type of work. So on the other hand, what happens if we have a more complex problem? We have a data consolidation problem, but we also need to streamline our processes. We need to make our processes work together between ERP and BI and maybe other systems. Then we have a more complex scenario. And when we have this complex scenario, data integration might not be enough. It might be just part of the picture. What can we do? Well, we can apply, first, we can apply or we can acquire an application integration product, which means, okay, we'll buy this product, and this product will enable us to be configured in such a way that not just business data, but process data and all the information related to it, and using web services, service-oriented architectures, we will create a complete messaging system that will enable us in real time make the information flow from one application to the other. One of the advantages is that, by essence, this is a real-time access information tool. It also provides us with very strong information integrity across different systems and the ability to communicate between systems. And of course, at the end, we'll streamline all business processes because we're interacting in a more agile way. The disadvantages, of course, are the high cost, and it could be time-consuming to apply this sort of technology. Of course, if you have this problem of integrating applications, or even if you have this problem because you need to integrate in real-time information coming from different regions, related to location, related to different business units, you might want to consider an enterprise integration application. Main players for this, well, we also have Oracle, one of the main players, TIBCO, Microsoft with a strong set of with a strong product called BizTalk, and all their semantic layer apply on their new platforms, especially enterprise and business intelligence platforms, Web Methods, GXS, and IBM. And just to give you a couple of examples of some middleware solutions that are enabling this enterprise application integration in some key functionality from them, we can tell we can talk about SQL Server, and I'm going to talk about some of the latest additions. As we were mentioning, Enterprise and Business Intelligence editions, they already have a BI semantic model, which means having a metadata model for all the components of an enterprise deployment for ERP and BI, so they can communicate not in terms of data, but they can communicate in terms of processes and functionality, a complete set of web services, etc. They have master data services and a really new set and strong set of SQL Server Enterprise Information Management Services. Another example is Oracle Fusion with their modular design, and they have a set of pre-built applications from the Oracle BI suite for service-oriented applications and to be deployed easy with Oracle Fusion platform. And one of the other places that I wanted to mention is Infor with their new ION semantic layer, which brings that possibility of applying application integration within all the product portfolio. So let's close the chapter with some of the strengths and weaknesses that we mentioned in the past. And just to give you an idea, and maybe this will help you identify your needs in terms of data and application integration, and some of their strengths and weaknesses. On one hand, from the data integration point of view, we have a really strong metadata driven approach, and we talk about all solutions being graphic user oriented, and it's extremely efficient for large data volumes. Most of the times we can do real-time data integration with a data integration tool, but it has some cost of doing this. So we need to take this into account. On the other hand, we have application integration, which is really reliable, but again, the cost might be an impediment for this type of technologies. It will depend. Or I mean, the front cost, maybe at the end, the return of investment might be good. What are the weaknesses of this? Well, again, we mentioned the cost and the complexity in terms of the application integration. For what could we use one or the other? If we have large amounts of data that we want to move from a source, from a ERP solution to a BI solution, we might as well have enough with the data integration. If our main problem is focused on moving data from one origin to source, we might consider the data integration included or not included on the vendor. I mean, a third-party product, or included from one of the BI or ERP offerings. But if we have a strong complexity of data and process management, we might be most suitable for a real-time application integration platform. And we just, I've just mentioned a couple of examples from from Microsoft. So at the end, one of the takeaways of this is that integration, as we know, means not just a combination of technology. It means having the right people, knowing what information is available and what information we need to use, combine it with a really strong process to perform that integration, and then use the right technology. For that, many companies nowadays have built expertise on that. So I would say that many times what we need to look for is not to discover the wheel, but use those technologies that really can help us to deploy integration solutions not from scratch. If we can avoid that, that would be great. So many companies, again, vendors and partners are working with that, and many times they have solved problems for specific data integration problems. Financials, customer relation management systems. And I don't know if I can mention a couple of Microsoft-related products that can use this. We have Target, we have Solver with very specific sets of connections for Dynamics ERP offerings. So basically, from a business point of view, what are the challenges? Well, the challenges of doing this integration, as we know, are, well, first, we need to agree on what data and information will be relevant to be moved on a certain way. Then, of course, apply the right technology. If we need data integration technology, if we need an enterprise application technology, so we need to be sure that we're applying the right technology, having a good evaluation technique to ensure that we're using this technology properly. We need to ensure the conversion of data to information. Again, garbage in, garbage out. It doesn't matter if we have the best possible BI tool, but we need to ensure that we are taking the right data. And that's why data integration remains as a huge concern for many ERP users and BI specialists. Discovering what integration point exists. I mean, where are the points that I will be integrating information from? And also, well, discovering the many complex data relationships, which is a huge effort sometimes for many companies that have very complex business processes in place or data integration needs in place. The benefits, well, the benefits are large, and these are only some of the benefits that we might obtain from a strong data integration or application integration solution. First, we streamline, we accelerate, and we can standardize the process, the business process, all the business process together. They can communicate, and they will be more flexible and agile. And also be prepared for change, which is also something extremely important. And when we do a change, or we make a change, we can really make this change be applied in different or be applied to all across the organization. We can achieve complete visibility if we really do all the effort to have a strong integration of functions in all departments, business alignment, and of course, cost savings and profit. So if we may call it a call to action, a little bit of a call to action, what do we need to do from a business perspective in terms of if we really want to convey on having data or application integration? Well, first, we need to really define a clear sponsorship for the integration strategy. And this is, I think this is a major point, and we repeat this point not only for data integration but for the other areas. We need to make senior management commit to this and make them be aware of the importance of having a strong data integration solutions. Again, many times we get caught on the hype, and we think that by having just the BI and visualization and reporting and analysis tool is going to be enough. No, we really need to have a clear idea and a clear definition of data management and how we move that, specifically with data. Let's call it data movement or process integration. We need to close the gap, and we need to really convey on what are strategic, tactical, and operational needs in terms of that information. Of course, we know that many times we got caught on providing strategic levels with information because those are the ones they are the ones that decide on the long-term level. But we could look to align to operational tactical levels at the same time and try to explore what do they really need from information and how can we convey and move that information to make it available for them. Take a evolution development approach. Start with maybe with a single use case and try to disseminate that or to try to evolve with a solution, make it grow. Don't try. Many times I have seen many projects that involve huge data integration efforts. Maybe you want to start small thinking big. Of course, making data integration initiatives as a priority, that's key. And well, it's important also to consider data integration initiatives as part of a full scope. And I'm mentioning specifically this because and in my experience, and this is not just from tech, in my experience, I noticed that sometimes there's kind of a misunderstanding of the importance of data integration or process integration within many companies. And we consider this as just a kind of a middle step that goes around in some place. But really, we need to consider this as a part of full scope of the data management initiative. And well, this goes to understanding the integration. And at the end, most important of all, understand the commitment from business and technical sides. I heard a lot about, okay, business taking responsibility, or business taking ownership over data, or technical side taking ownership over data. I think it's more about having both committed to solve a common problem from a different perspective. Business to solve the problem of having what they need in the form they need, and from the technical side, provide that information in a way that business can really use that information effectively. And well, I just want to end up with a very strong phrase from Thornton May, and is about how information will be and cost of information will be important nowadays in the future. And one is the flow of know, and how the cost of knowing will be. So this is it on my side. I don't know if you have any question.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Jorge. Some great findings there, and recommendations as well. And we do want to now open up the floor to allow our audience to ask some questions. Again, you can use the Q&A block that you should see to the right of the slides, or you can even use the chat just above it if you have a comment or question. And we have several minutes to let Jorge answer your questions. Jorge, I had a question that came in a little while ago. What related to the investment and selling the investment, what roles in the organization tend to have success selling investments in the foundation of the data integration that is required for BI?
Well, I don't know if I understood correctly. Do you mean which roles within the company are the most successful to sell this idea?
Yeah.
To the organization? Well, I think that, I think that is a combination. I think that normally the CIO and IT managers are very aware of this process. I have noticed that some from the business side, it tends to be kind of a blurry. Topic. So I think that what is important is that from the technical side, the ones that know that dealing with this information is difficult, they need to sell the right message as it is, which is taking that message and try to sell it to the business side. Of course, this is changing a bit because now an increasing number of business users, they already have more technical skills, or at least they are more technical aware of the need. So it might come to a moment where a business director or a business staff will say, okay, we need to address this. But I think that most of the time CIOs, CTOs are the ones that need to sell this message accordingly. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, I think it did, and we have another one here. Why not, well, let me see if I can sort of paraphrase it. Why not have ERP directly post data to a data warehouse? Why do you need to use ETL? We have experienced ETL failures, and the management couldn't end up getting the reports as a result?
Yes. Well, okay. I think we touched a little bit about that in the second chapter, and well, it will depend on the type of problem that we have. And I have heard on previous briefing that we don't need the data warehousing anymore. But in my view, this is a very important issue in nature, and it comes from a technical point of view, which means that taking the information directly from the data, it might solve the problem of ease of extraction and take the information right from the spot. But what could happen if you have a very big infrastructure is that you're forcing. Remember that when you do analysis, you take huge amounts of information to do analysis. So what you do, and many times what ends up happening is that you're forcing your ERP infrastructure to perform heavy-duty analysis stuff. This slows down your system, and then you start having performance and other types of issues. Also, what happens is that if you use that ETL for reporting, and again, it depends. If you just generate a couple of simple reports, it might not be that bad. But if you really are using extensive BI functionality and you have extensive functionality needs, then what will happen is that you'll decrease your performance, and then you will not have, again, a single repository to analyze information. And if you want to include information coming from other sides, it might not be the best way to do it. You might start to siloing information and not have a single, I don't want to use that term, but a single version of the truth. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so, and there's actually a follow-up here that might be good to tackle next. It comes in and it says, can you define metadata for the audience and give a practical example?
Oh, not a problem.
And give a practical example of how an ETL tool can reveal it.
Okay, yeah, it's not a problem. Well, the metadata is what we call information about information. Is the description of a data element. So what we do is that when we create everything, many applications work with metadata, ERPs, BI solutions. So what we do is that we know that there's a technical definition on the database. There's a technical definition in terms of what type of field it is, if it's a chart, if it's a number, etc., the length of that element, etc. All that information is being kept in what we call a data dictionary, and then that produces the raw material for having information about the information. Managing metadata is useful because by managing that metadata, we can adapt the definition of a data element accordingly. Why is that? How is that? We can, sometimes when we have a field called X2146 or OP whatever, maybe the IT guy will understand that, but the business guy, he's not going to be aware of what does that mean. So what we do is that we can modify the metadata and modify the definition or the name in such a way, I mean, put a registry, a metadata registry, so we can map, and we can map that X1245 into another business term more common for the business users, such as I don't know, such as number of invoice, which is more common for the business side. And this is a very, very, let's call it, it's going to be very simplistic, but is a very it's a very light definition of having a master data management schema or a data governance schema, where we can manage information in a way that on different departments they can have their own definition of the same term, and by managing that metadata, that information about the information, we can uh, apparently speak a different language, but referring to the same data. That's one of the that's one of the key examples of this. Was that clear?
Yeah, I think so. Another question that came in, BI is traditionally applied to sales. Is there a trend toward manufacturing and operations using BI?
Oh, this is a very interesting question. One, because, well, BI does not necessarily tie into sales. It is a good example. Another good example of BI applied of application of BI is financials. But I think that nowadays BI is being used for many other areas as well. And what's happening even more within modern times is that many BI vendors are developing what they call industry or line of business vertical applications of BI, which means having a specific sets of analytics for a specific line of business. It could be sales, it could be financials, it could be healthcare, etc. So I think that was the first part of the question. The second part was what? I don't remember. I think it was the second part of
the question was really, are there trends toward manufacturing and operations?
Yeah, of course you will find. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you will find some companies already developing. Maybe I'm not aware right now which company would be providing that, but some companies are already providing that. And you can find also sets of analytics provided with the ERP vendor. So that's another trend, which ERP vendors are incorporating analytics within their own solutions.
Yeah, and I would agree. I think we see in the dynamics space, BI vendors certainly are looking to sort of give themselves an edge or help accelerate their customers by providing some pre-built industry-specific reporting capabilities.
And I guess that Microsoft will start working heavily on that. I have seen some signals, especially. Well, I mean, partners work heavily with that, but I think Microsoft is taking serious steps to address that problem. Well, not a problem, that issue.
Yeah. Okay, we are getting to the end of our question queue here, and I would invite anyone else who has something to add it now. I think we have time for maybe one more question.
Okay.
Jorge, I did have one, and this one's actually from me, since I think we are at the end of our question queue here. But you mentioned near the end of your presentation, setting the basis for master data management.
Okay.
And I was wondering, could you just give a bit of expansion on where how you actually see this setting that basis, and where it might go from here and what you've talked about today?
Yes, I think this relates to metadata, and metadata plays an important role within master data management, which means one of the biggest problems was not just consolidating the data, but making data speak the same language, or making the data be understandable across the organization. And I think I mentioned this topic before in one of the questions, which was many times, if you notice, accounting has a different language than sales in terms of their own data elements. Master data management strategy enables us enables organizations to have a kind of a unique or very specific dictionary, so we can all understand each other using the terms that we can use commonly to understand each other. Having the system is able to interpret, depending on the line of business, the department, the different language to refer to the same term. So having a master data management system, or having a master data management initiative, which is part of a data governance initiative, can be really beneficial to allow better communication between departments, internal communication. We might have this happens. I'm not well. I mean, it was quite long ago, but I used to work in some banks, and one of the problems with banks is that they had customers and customer names, but they identify customers' name in different way. For us, it was clear that the customer name in a savings account and subscriber in insurance would be the same thing. But in terms of the system, they would not understand each other. But having a master data management in place enables us to streamline the communication between departments and the systems working within those departments to understand each other.
All right.
Okay, so that's
great. Well,
answer.
Yeah. In the 2-minute version of the future of MDM, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much. We are at the top of the hour here, and I appreciate you taking the time to answer so many questions. And I want to thank the audience for participating today and for attending. Please stay tuned for upcoming sessions that we'll be holding. And again, Jorge, thanks so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, everyone, and have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.